All right, so if you're a franchise owner, this presentation is for you. If you're an independent dealer, this presentation is also for you. And if you're a buy here, pay here, this presentation is also for you. So let me ask you a question for everyone that is here. What would it look like if you could quickly and easily add another 50, 60, maybe 150 deals per month and increase your profits anywhere from $1,800 to $4,000 per deal, all without spending the thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars that many of you spend on outdated or ineffective advertising? Wouldn't that be a game changer? Absolutely. So during this next hour, I'm going to show you how to generate more leads than you've ever thought possible, because it's a lot easier than most of you think. In fact, I'm going to show you how to maximize your return on investment for every lead that you generate, regardless of where you're getting your calls from, and how you can tap into resources like Data Logic and Polk Automotive, so that way you only attract the hottest buyers in the market. And I'm also going to share with you how to find inventory that you just can't buy at any auction at any price. So throughout this presentation, I'm going to be referring to what I call my proprietary strategic messaging system, so that way you never miss an opportunity or an up again. And I'm going to even tap into some stealth software so that you can ethically spy on your competitors to see exactly where they're getting their leads and sales from every single month. So if you're wondering what makes me different, first of all, there's nothing for sale during this presentation. So if you're expecting a high pressure pitch at the end, don't worry about that, because all I'm here is to provide you some really good content that, if you implement, could totally revolutionize the way you do business forever. And if you stick around to the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you a copy of a visibility report specifically for your dealership. So what this report is going to do for you is going to show you all the areas on how your dealership is missing information on the internet. So as we all know, most of your clients today are looking for the products and services that you offer by tapping into the search engines. And if your business is not 100% visible, or it's got missing information, well, you're missing out on tons of opportunity. So by having this report card, you're going to be able to fix all that stuff and basically increase your leads and sales by 10 or 15%. So before we get started, I just have a handful of questions for all of you. Does it ever feel like you're throwing half of your money away with ineffective advertising and getting little or zero results? If that's you, give me a big 1 in the chat box. Awesome. Thanks for participating, Mike. All right. Are you overwhelmed with the technology that's involved with staying connected with your prospects and feel that it's actually wasting your time instead of making you money? If that's you, go ahead and give me a big 4 in the chat box. Okay, Greg, cool. I hear you. All right, so how many here are constantly struggling with the price objection and losing deals to your competition? If that's you, give me a 7 in the chat box. Okay, cool. All right, sounds like a couple of you had that problem. How many here are tired of wasting your time talking to people who are not serious about buying and feel like you could generate a better quality lead? If that's you, give me a 5 in the chat box. All right, cool. All right, thank you. All right, well, the awesome news is that any of that feels like you, none of those are your real problem. In fact, your real problem is that you haven't yet implemented the 5 essential components to what I call a Renegade marketing system, which I'm going to explain to you here in just a few minutes. The good news is that these 5 components will unlock doors to more sales, having customers who are less price resistant, and implementing automation so that you have leverage to generate more leads even while you sleep. And imagine having a dependable, consistent flow of leads and customers because you have a system that ensures that you never miss an opportunity again. Now, what you need to know is that these 5 components is all you'll need to have to add another 50, 60, maybe 100 deals per month or more. So if you're wondering who I am and why you should be listening to me, first of all, again, my name is Dean Haw, and I am a former Marine who spent over a decade learning the tactics and logistics of warfare. I learned how to locate my enemy or my competition and take them out with using all kinds of different tools and techniques. And I've taken that skill set and I implemented it into the car business. Now, for the last 10 years of my life, I've been in the car business, or I'm a car guy just like most of you. And I started off as a salesperson. And I, not to toot my own horn, I was one of the better salespeople. I was averaging between 15 to 20 cars a month and making really high grosses. So typically what I see, at least in the car business, those that have really high numbers, the 20, 30, 40-month guys, well, they're not making a lot of grosses. This is kind of giving the cars away. For me, I didn't like to work that much, so I made sure that I made maximum profit with every deal that I touched. So because of my success in generating revenue for the dealership, I eventually became a salesperson where my average profit per vehicle was about $3,800 a copy. And then the last dealership I worked at, I was the finance manager. And again, I was averaging $2,100 on the back end on an import store, which is a pretty decent back end. So I've been around the block at a couple different dealerships and seen the processes from A to Z on what it takes to take a prospect all the way through the sales cycle to becoming a loyal customer. So now I've taken those two different skill sets and I've combined them and created what a local marketing agency. And now I help local dealerships drive literally thousands of leads and sales nationwide. So before we get started explaining the 5 components in the Renegade marketing system, I have to share with you the common marketing mistakes that most dealerships make. And if you've done any type of advertising and marketing for your dealership, I can virtually guarantee that you've been making at least one of the following 2 common mistakes. And it doesn't matter if you've been in business for 5, 10, 20, or even 30 years or more and been getting what most people consider pretty good results. Well, I'm here to tell you that these 2 mistakes have cost you a lot of money and lost opportunity and lost business. So to prove to you what I'm talking about, I want you to get out some of your marketing material right now. It might be your latest radio script or TV ad, maybe a newspaper, even your website. It doesn't matter what it is, go ahead and get one of those items so that we have access to it as we go through a couple of evaluations as I described these 2 mistakes. So mistake number 1 is using one of the 3 forbidden phrases. And you're probably wondering, what are the 3 forbidden phrases? Well, in short, they are phrases that use platitudes. And in marketing, platitudes are essentially the kiss of death. So let me give you the definition of a platitude as it pertains to marketing. So a platitude are words and phrases that are dull, obvious, or predictable that lack the power to create interest because they are overused and unoriginal, but nevertheless still commonly used as though they were unique or distinctive. So an example of a platitude are words or phrases like highest quality, best service, largest selection, gets the job done right the first time, been in business for 30 years, or been in business since 1776 BC, honest, hardworking, you've tried the rest, now try the best, number 1, your dealer of choice, state of the art. Now, let me ask you, does any of this sound familiar? Of course it does. I bet you've been hearing junk like this for years. Now, here's the question. Do you use these words in your marketing? Now, I bet you do. I don't even know you, but if I were a betting man, which I am not, I would bet the farm on the fact that you're using platitudes just like this in your advertising and marketing right now. If you don't believe me, take a look for yourself. So here's the deal. These platitudes that fill up your marketing and advertising are killing your profits and destroying your market opportunities. You see, platitudes don't distinguish or separate you in the marketplace because they don't quantify or specify anything. They're not believable, they're usually not provable, and they cause your prospects to minimize, discount, disbelieve, or worse yet, ignore you altogether. Ultimately, your target market ends up believing that you and your business are just like everybody else in your industry. Now, this is why your target market always ends up grinding you on price, regardless on how great you claim your product is or how much better you think than you are than your competitors. None of that matters because you just introduced yourself to the marketplace as one more scoop of vanilla and a whole sea of vanilla. Now, let me break this down further for you by using some objective evaluations so you can determine if you're really using platitudes in your advertising or not. I want to take you through 3 platitude evaluations. The first evaluation is called, well, I would hope so. Now, seriously, that's the name of the evaluation. So here's the deal. I want you to look at the statements or phrases in your advertising, then ask yourself this question. Could or would my prospect immediately respond to these statements by saying, well, I would hope so? Now, here's an example of evaluation number 1. See, this is Johnson Toyota, and their slogan is, try it before you buy it. Well, I would hope so. Now, none of us really think that anyone would probably spend $10,000 or more on a vehicle without at least test driving it more. I mean, it rarely happens. Does it happen once in a while? Of course it does, but it rarely happens. How about this ad? Best deals. Well, I would hope so. Most people today, before they buy a car, are fairly educated. Most of them know roughly what that car is worth. And before they even come down there, they're expected to be treated right and fairly when negotiating on the price. So when you're advertising the best deal, well, I would hope so. Now, who else can say that? Now, pay close attention to this one, because the question is not who else could do what you do, but who else can say what you say. The answer is usually anyone and everyone. So here's an example of evaluation number 2. Here's an ad for Granger Nissan, who says they have the home of lifetime warranty. Well, who else can say that? Now, this dealership might actually offer a lifetime warranty, but do you actually believe it because they said it? Who else can say that? I mean, can't the dealer on the very next listing in Google where I got this ad, who says quality Hondas at affordable prices, can they not also say they offer a lifetime warranty? Well, of course they can. See, look at your promotional material, then read a few lines and ask yourself this. Who else can say that? If one of your competitors can say it, then you failed this evaluation. Now, the evaluation 3 is the cross-out write-in test. For this evaluation, I want you to go ahead and cross out the name of your company in your advertisement or on your website, then write in the name of your competitor. Cross out write-in. Get it? Now tell me, is this still valid? I mean, if so, you've just failed the test. And another way to illustrate this is by doing it in reverse. Cross out the name of your competitor and replace it with your company's name. Now tell me, is the ad or your website still valid? I mean, really? See, I don't care if you absolutely know that you have higher quality inventory than your competitor, because your competitor could still say that they have higher quality than you, even if it's not true. Because I can give you hundreds of examples for insurance companies who can give you fast, easy quotes, or dentists who offer complete dental care, or landscape contractors who cut to perfection. See, bottom line is that none of those ads pass the cross-out write-in test or the other platitude evaluations. So the second common market mistake is that businesses use what we call fragmented marketing. Now, this is the absolute wrong approach to marketing, yet it is the most common approach in business today. Everybody's doing it, including you and your competitors. Now, the good news, or the bad news if you're slow, is that the first one to fix this problem basically wins. Seriously. Now, let me explain what fragmented marketing is, which, by the way, is the wrong way to do it, in contrast to what we call systemized marketing, which is the right way to do it. See, fragmented marketing means that there is no cohesive message or comprehensive system handling your marketing for you. See, instead, when you buy marketing and advertising, it's typically developed by the company who created the ad, right? Now think back to the last advertisement or marketing piece that you created for your company. What was it? Was it a brochure, a website, maybe a printed ad, or a radio spot? Now, who created the final project for you? They did, didn't they? See, the radio station created your radio spot, the magazine created your magazine ad, the design company created your printed materials, the web design company created your website, and the video production company developed your content for your video. Now, think about how fragmented that makes your marketing efforts. All those different companies have different ideas about what your marketing message should be based on their limited experience. Inevitably, they all use platitudes, then they try and to throw in their own dose of creativity. Now think about how wrong that is. You need to develop and own your own message. You shouldn't give it to others, and you shouldn't leave it to multiple teams of others who really don't have your best interest in mind, nor do they care about your position in the marketplace. Now, on the other hand, a system dictates the content of the advertisement, and it also dictates the sequence that your prospects go through and the message that your prospects hear and see as they ultimately lead to your front door. A system helps facilitate the decision-making process. In other words, it would define what criteria your prospects should look for in a company, product, or service. In doing so, it would lead to buy from you and not your competitor. Now that we've identified some problems with existing marketing and advertising, let's talk about some solutions, because I want to share with you how exactly to market your vehicles. And believe it or not, this process that we're going to be developing is actually scientific. So I know that you've been taught that marketing isn't art, that you need a team of creative people to invent funny, quirky, entertaining, or other type of creative content to use in your advertising and marketing. The scientific method that we're creating is actually a comprehensive marketing system that we call the strategic messaging formula. And we use it exclusively at Renegade Media to generate industry-leading results for all of our customers, no matter what their industry is. Our ultimate goal for the strategic messaging formula is to cause your customers and prospects to draw this important conclusion. I have to be completely insane to work with anyone but you, no matter the price. Now, don't you want your customers and prospects thinking that way? Of course you do. So let me show you how this works. The strategic marketing formula, or SMS for short, has 5 components. Let me introduce them to you really quick. The first is capture. This means that you must first capture your target market's attention. I know it's pretty obvious, but it's not as easy to pull off as what most people think. And furthermore, it's done more wrong than done right. The second component is the connect. This means once you've captured your prospect's attention, you must connect with them on an emotional level. You have to hold on to their attention by connecting with them through hot buttons that is important and relevant to them. You have to make them feel that important and relevant information is going to be delivered to them, so that way they can make the best decision possible. In short, you're helping them facilitate the decision-making process. Third component is now that you've connected with your prospects on an emotional level, you must give them enough quality information to make them feel like they can make an informed decision. This is how you can solve the problem and gain immediate benefit. Again, you do this by giving your prospects enough quality information to address their emotional needs. Remember, this component is called inform. So you're informing them, and this step is also critical in terms of the sale because it is formed on an emotional level instead of a logical one. The fourth component is called incentivize. In this step, you have to give your prospects an incentive to take the next step in the buying process. This is often accomplished by giving your prospect an offer to get a free marketing tool. This could be a special report, a book, a video, maybe a series of video, even an audio program, or anything like that. Now, however, you don't always have to give away a marketing tool. You can give away a coupon, exclusive discount, special opportunity, or any low risk with high value offer. Whatever it is, just remember that you're incentivizing your prospects to take the next step in the buying process. The fifth and final component is the automate. That simply means that now your prospects are connected with you in your marketing system, you must create content to automate the follow-up process. See, most companies and individuals are notoriously bad about following up. Just think about your own dealership. Now, the average salesperson only follows up with their customers 2 to 3 times. And statistically speaking, the average customer needs to be touched 8 to 10 times before they can make a buying decision. So fortunately, there's some software available today. Most of you probably have a CRM for your business, but it still needs a person to go in there and actually facilitate the process in touching the base or following up with your customers. Now, imagine how much more sales you would make if you're able to automate that entire process. But even with software, will not give you the best bang for the dollar unless you properly craft your message and follow-up sequence. So remember a few years ago where businesses had to rely on advertising in the phone book just to be found? Well, today, if you don't show up on the first page of Google, you might as well don't exist. Now, regardless of where you're advertised, is that you want to drive as many people to your website as possible. Because studies have shown the more people you get to your website, the higher number of deals you'll make every single month. So also with your website, you have the most control over what happens next to your prospects. See, with today, you can place tracking codes or pixels on your website so that you can communicate with your prospects, and depending on what actions they take next will determine what message or what offer they see in the next marketing sequence. This is called behavioral marketing, and most dealerships don't implement any type of this technology at all. Now, let me ask you, where are you currently advertising? So how many here are advertising on TV, radio, newspaper, those coupon magazines, or the Yellow Pages? Is that you? Give me a big 3 in the chat box. So far it looks like I got a handful of you here. So the most important thing is that make sure that whatever form of offline advertising you're using, that you're using tracking URLs and phone numbers. So I'm going to give you an example of a Ford store. And as you can see here, in each one of these different mediums, we're using a different URL address and a different phone number. So that way we can track every lead regardless of where it came from. So let's just say that you're the owner of Lone Star Ford and you're trying to sell, of course, Ford trucks. So what most dealerships do is that they advertise on either Craigslist or AutoTrader, Cars.com, Car Gurus, even Cars for Sale. Now, each one of these companies have one goal in common, and that is to keep people on their individual websites. See, if you're advertising on AutoTrader, all AutoTrader wants to do is keep people on their website. And the reason why is because it's how they get paid. The same thing with Car Gurus, Cars.com, Cars for Sale, even Craigslist. Now, most dealers only follow with prospects who call on a specific vehicle. But what if you're able to market to individuals based on the type of vehicle they looked at on industry-specific sites, such as Cars.com, AutoTrader, or Car Gurus, and then place an ad of a similar vehicle where only your vehicle was visible? Don't you think you would sell more cars? Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. So, of course you would. So let me show you how this works. Well, we'll just say that I'm a prospect and I'm looking at buying a brand new 2017 Ford F-150 Raptor. Now, remember, the owner of Lone Star Ford has a truck just like this, but for whatever reason, I don't make it down to see his ad. Okay, as a consumer, I'm looking at the first 3. I see a couple of different options. I see they're all within a similar price. So I just call the first 3, and I don't even ignore the rest of the ads at the lower half of the page. So now that Lone Star Ford just missed out on the opportunity that they could have had with me. Now the cool thing is that with tools like Facebook today, we can advertise specifically to people who are in the market to buy a vehicle. So let me show you what that means. So we have people who are near market. And what that means is if I want to say Cars.com or AutoTrader, and I looked at vehicles, but I didn't click through the different ads. So let's say I'm looking at specifically a Ford F-150, but I didn't click through to go to the dealership's website. I didn't fill out a form, and I didn't click the call button. So that means I'm in near the market. I'm searching, but I haven't made a decision on what to buy yet. Now, people who are in the market, that means that I've actually clicked the link to the Ford truck that took me to the Ford dealer's website. So because Facebook is buying data from Polk Automotive and Data Logic, they know because companies like Cars.com and AutoTrader sell that data to Facebook. So Facebook knows exactly what people are doing, okay? And then once that customer goes to the website and let's say they fill out a form or click to call the dealership, then Facebook knows that you're actually in the market ready to buy because you've taken the next step. So the cool thing is that we're able to advertise to all three of those individuals who are, at the beginning stage of the market, who are currently in the market, or ready to buy in the market. So we can put an ad directly in front of them. So here's an example of one of my clients putting a similar vehicle. It's not the same vehicle. Remember, initially we were looking at a crew cab, but now we're looking at an extended cab. So there's a possibility that this would grab my attention, and I would click on this ad, which would take me to the client. So imagine if you're able to market to each individual based on their behavior. Now, let's just say that your prospect picked up the phone and called you, and either you had a vehicle or you didn't have a vehicle. So those are either yes, no questions. Either you had it, you didn't have it. Either yes, they made an appointment, or they didn't make an appointment. Either they made an offer, they didn't make an offer. Either they bought a vehicle or they didn't buy a vehicle. So those are yes, no options. So based on the behavior of your customer will determine what follow-up sequence they get next. Now, right now, we have to rely on the salespeople to do that follow-up for us. And let's just face it, for most of us as salespeople, we're lazy. We don't like following up. We want the sale that's in front of us right now. So imagine if you had a software that automatically followed up with your prospects regardless on what action they took next. So if they set appointment, they would get a sequence of marketing message based on if they set an appointment. If they didn't set an appointment, they would get a completely different group of messages. Imagine how much more powerful that would be for your dealership, because then we can funnel the prospect into a certain sequence and get them to take action sooner. And this process is completely automated. So that means you don't have to hire more staff. You don't have to go out there and hire a bunch of BDC people. It's all taken care of for you through some very specific proprietary software. Now, on top of that, the software can also completely automate your service department needs. Now, if you're a dealership who has a service department, think how much more service you would get if the customers either bought, they didn't bought. Now you offer them to come into your service department. Now, I would guess to say that most of you will service just about any manufacturer out there. And so if you're a Ford dealership, I bet you will service some Chevy stuff and vice versa. And so now you can significantly increase your service department tickets by 30, 40, maybe even 100% by implementing this type of service or this type of software into your dealership. Now, who here is using Facebook, Google, and Instagram in your advertising? Because if you're not, you're basically throwing your money away. See, with Google, Facebook, Instagram, now we can be on every device, regardless of where your client or your prospects are coming from. Even if they're only if you're advertising on cars.com, you can still follow them around on Google, through their email, on their mobile device, on their desktop, regardless of where they're going, because now we have their name, email address, and mobile number, and now we can put an ad that's very specific to that person in front of them. Now, here's some of the results that we've been able to implement for our clients using this type of technology. So as you can see here, we've been doing this since 2012. And as you see, in most cases, we're able to significantly increase our clients' traffic to the website by literally thousands of visitors every single month, and literally increase their calls by hundreds of calls per month. And it doesn't matter where you're located at. Here's a dealership that's located on the East Coast, and we literally increase their calls by 100 calls a month. I mean, think about it. That's an easy 15, 20 car deals every single month on top of what they were already getting. And so we see similar results throughout the country at every dealership they work with. And so the first thing we do is remember at the beginning of this presentation, We talked about that visibility report and why it's so important. So just by changing that one thing, we typically are able to double, sometimes triple your website traffic in less than 90 days. So here is just some results of independent dealership where we took them from 40 deals a month to 80 deals a month, and generated over an additional 100 calls per month. Here is a Ford dealership that we did this for, an independent store. I'm sorry, it's the same Ford store. Here's the new Ford store that we just brought on. So as you can see, again, within the first 60 days, we doubled their website traffic and increased their call volumes by over 50 calls per month. So, I mean, that is a game changer. So now you have a choice to make. This is how I can help you. I've set aside some time in the next week to personally speak on how you can apply these strategies to your business, and the cost is absolutely free. So who is this for? Is that you must be 100% committed to the success of your dealership and hitting the income goals no matter what. And if you implement the system that I have outlined for you today, you're definitely going to hit your goals. And you must, and for us to work for you, you have to provide good quality cars, trucks, and SUVs, and to have a fairly decent reputation. Because if you don't, then maybe this is not for you. Now, if you hop on the call with me today or later this week, I'm going to help you dial in your business so that we can reach your goals and get absolute clarity on how to reach them fast. And I'm going to go through the exact strategy on how to make this happen. And if you want help from us and we think it's a good fit, we may invite you to become one of our clients. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through our marketing system that is designed to help you get your automated lead flow and your revenue increased by another $50,000 a month and beyond. And we expect you to start getting your first set of customers within the first 7 to 10 days. Now, all you need to do is to schedule your consultation is click the link below. Now, at this time, a link should show up underneath the video. If it doesn't, for whatever reason, again, we're using some technology. All you need to do is go to dealerrenegade.com/apply. Once again, just think what one new customer is worth to you. Are they worth $1,000, $5,000, maybe $10,000 or more? Just imagine what another 20, 30, maybe 50 new customers a month are worth to you. So if you'd like to find out how we can implement this for you, go to dealerrenegade.com/apply. Now, remember, you have two choices. The first option is to do nothing, which requires zero risk, zero faith, and you continue to experience the same results that you've always had with little or zero change. The second option, again, is to invest a little bit of time, see what's possible in your business, and be willing to change to create the lifestyle that you've always wanted. So remember, go to dealerrenegade.com/apply. Once again, just look at these results. All of our dealers are typically happy campers. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation today. I'm looking forward to the chat with each one of you. So if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot us an email at support@renegademediacompany.com, and we'll be right back to you. So thanks again for taking the time to go through the presentation. Have a fantastic day.